Okay, so let's jump in and get started. Last week we spoke about the future value formula. So today we're going to do some more questions around future value, and I'm just going to show you how it can be a little bit more difficult than what we saw last week. I also am going to show you about how we would use the future value formula to calculate the value of n. Okay, so let's have a look at the first example. I've kind of changed it a little bit. The first part is not really what we want to talk about, but we need the answer from here in order to be able to do the next bit. Okay, so Irene opens a savings account at the end of each month. She deposits 1,700 Rand into the account and continues to do this for 10 years. Interest is 8% per annum, compounded monthly. Calculate the future value of her investment at the end of the 10-year period. Okay, that's the easy part. The second part says Irene leaves the accumulated amount in the account for a further 6 months without making any further payments of 1,700 Rand. If the interest rate changes to 10% per annum compounded half yearly, calculate the value of the investment after the further 6 months. Okay, so if someone could tell me, please, it would be great to hear your voices. What should we do for part A? Are there any tricks in working out part A, or is that sort of fairly straightforward? What do you guys think? What do you think, Matrix? Any tricks to working out part A, or do you think it's fairly straightforward? It's straightforward. Okay. So, Lesedi, you're quite right. What would we write, Lesedi? No, it is. It is. Part A is. Part A is. What would we do for part A? What should I write? Can anybody tell me? Don't be shy, guys. We all in this together. What should we do for part A?
I think we said is okay. Now it's halale.
Okay.
Halala, do you want to answer? Okay.
Yes, Hendrina, it's the future value formula. Okay, so we know that it's the future value formula because it's savings and there is a regular payment. Okay, so at the end of each month, the same amount of money is being paid. Okay, so very definitely X is 17, correct? So in order to do part A, the future value of the investment, quite right, we would say 1700, and then 1 plus our interest rate is 8%, so 0.08 compounded monthly, so divide by 12. And she's doing this every month for 10 years. So that means that there are going to be 120 payments of 1,700 Rand minus 1 all over 0.08 over 12. Pop that into our calculators, and what is the future value of Irene's investment? What are you guys getting? Again, you can share your answers on the chat. Sisipo. I'm getting a slightly different answer to you, Sissy Paul. I don't know if I made a mistake. Or maybe you just made a typo. Okay. Yes, Masejo, I'm getting the same answer as yeah. Yes, Lorato. Me too. Okay. All right. So 311-008-26. Koli, I don't know if I hope I pronounced your name correctly. I tried to send you, I took a picture of this and I tried to send it to you and it wouldn't go out of my outbox and I have no idea why. Okay, so let me see if I can, bearing in mind I'm in the middle of load shedding.
Yeah, it could be network, yeah.
Yolanda, do you have your calculator?
No, not at this moment. I don't have my calculator.
Okay. I'm just going to see if this.
I'm gonna try search one for you if you want.
Okay, what I'm going to do very quickly. Yes, that is correct. Everybody's got the correct one. So just give me 1 second, everyone. I'm just going to see if I can help you with this. And then put this onto the screen very quickly.
I have my calculator now. Is there something that I should calculate?
No. I was actually going to ask you if you would take a
screenshot.
A screenshot of what was on your calculator, but I'm doing it now. It's just so that I could go on with the next part of the question without holding anybody up. Shame,
Yes, I'm
Linda,
using
sorry.
Casio, so I can take a picture and send it.
Okay, cool. Let's just see here. Okay, sorry, guys, just sorry, I beg your pardon. Just be patient. Okay. All right, so there we go. And I'm just going to snip this out. Okay, so this is, I can't get the entire thing in, but this is at least part of it. There you go. Okay, so that's the photo that I've managed to take right now. Okay, so you've pressed the fraction button. This, what you see up here, this over here, this is the divide line. Okay, that's the same as this over here. Okay, so what's missing, what you can't see over here is that that was over 12. Also, what you can't see here is that there's a -1 and then we close the brackets. Okay, so open, 1 plus the interest rate to the power of this was 120, so the 0 there is missing. Okay, so that's what it would look like on your calculator. Incidentally, this is the button over here that we would use to calculate n. Okay, that's our log button. Okay, so that is for calculating n when it's an exponent. Okay, so I hope that that helps a little bit.
Yeah, if not, I'm here, and I can help you, Olito. Yeah.
That's fine. No, it's all right. No problem. As I say, I tried to send you an email and I don't know why my picture just wouldn't go through to you. Okay, so let's go and answer part B now. All right. So what happens when Irene leaves this money in the account? All right. Are we still going to use the future value formula for part B? No, we can't. Okay, because there are no further payments. All right. So when the regular payments stop, it means that we have to use what formula, guys? Compound interest. Quite right. Okay, so if they want us to calculate the value of her investment, they want us to calculate A. Our p-value will be 3,110.8,26. 1 plus our interest rate is 10%, compounded half yearly, so that would be to the power of 2. What is my exponent going to be in this case? Okay, she's going to leave it in the account for 6 months. So what will my exponent be here? Yes, so you're too clever. Well done. Okay, my exponent is 1. Okay, so good job, guys. We would now end up with a final answer. Over 2. What are you guys getting? Let's see. I know Pingas sent me an answer. Why is it 1? Kutwano, good question. Why is it 1? So do you think you can explain why it's 1?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah. Go for it. Explain why it's 1, please.
It's 1 because half yearly payments are paid in every 6 months. So it's 1 payment every 6 months.
Absolutely. Okay, so it's 1 period essentially that it's going to
Yes.
be in the account. Okay,
Yes.
beautifully put, Zegofatso. I couldn't say it any better. Okay,
Thank you.
Kutwano, well done, Zegofatso. Okay, remember, it's 1 period. Okay, remember N represents the number of times the interest is compounded in the period. It's compounded once, okay, because it's half yearly. Okay, well done, Tsegofatso. Thank you for giving us that answer. Okay, let's jump into something else. So now I've included this question with you because there's a little bit of a twist in the tail here, all right? On Tuesday, we saw some questions where they used the word immediately. A payment was made immediately. And when there was an immediate payment and then there were payments made at the end of every month for a period of time, we added 1 because there was going to be an extra payment. So in a situation like that, it would mean, for example, that there would be 13 payments in the first year if there was a payment being made every month. Because essentially, if there's an immediate payment, there is a payment at the beginning of the very first month, and then another payment again at the end of the first month. So there's 2 payments in the first month. Now read this question. Okay, it uses the word immediately, but there's a twist in the tail here. All right. So in order to supplement his pension after retirement, Paul, aged 20, takes out a retirement annuity. He makes monthly payments of 2,000 Rand into the fund. Payments start immediately. Sorry, I got mozzies flying around here. Payments are made in advance, which means that the last payment of 2,000 Rand is made 1 month before the annuity pays out. The interest rate for the annuity is 15% per annum compounded monthly. Calculate the future value of the annuity when he turns 60. Okay, so what's different here to what we've seen before? How is this question different? Chloe, go for it.
Hi, ma'am. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you, Chloe. What do you see that's different here?
What's different is that the payments are made in advance, and the last payment was made a month before he got the money.
That's
So,
it. Well
yeah.
done. Okay, so the payments are made in advance. Do you know what it means when we say payments are made in advance? Do you know what that means?
Is that not you paying before the time?
Correct. Correct. So you're paying essentially at the beginning of the month rather than at the end. Okay, perfect. Well done, Chloe. 100%. All right. So payments are made in advance, absolutely. And as Chloe said, the last payment is made 1 month before the annuity pays out. So what happens in that month, guys? In that last month? Good question, Penga. We're gonna talk about that now.
Hello,
Okay.
ma'am.
Hello, Tsegofatso.
Yes, to answer the question, what happens in the last month, the interest is still be counted. So we times an extra bracket after the
Exactly. Okay. That's right. Okay. So in a question like this, we have to have an extra bracket. Good. Well done. Okay. So I tell you what, let's make ourselves a little timeline before we sub into future value and include that extra bracket. Okay. So we've got T0, T1, T2, duck, 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 duck. It's monthly payments. It's when he turns 60, right? So it's for 40 years. Okay, so when is his last payment going to be made? Oh, let's just have a look. 40 times. So here would be, I'm going to put 478, 479, and then 480. Because when we get to T480, that would have been 40 years, isn't it? Okay. There we go, Nolitando. Good. Well done. All right. So now he makes monthly payments and he starts immediately. So that means he puts 2,000 Rand in at T0, 2,000 Rand in at the beginning of the next month, 2,000 Rand at the beginning of the next month, da 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 da. And he does this, payments are made in advance, which means the last payment is made 1 month before the annuity pays out. Okay, so this is when the annuity is going to pay out. All right, it's going to be at T480 when he turns 60. Okay, so for the month from T479 to T480, this is where this pink arrow is. This is where it has to gain interest, like Tsegofatso was saying. Yes, Kamchelo, I see you've got your hand up. Do you want to ask a question?
Hi, ma'am.
Hi, Kamchelo.
Could you please assist me with that T478 and I don't understand that part from T40 478.
Okay, so what I have done to work out what this number is going to be over here, so this value over here, okay, I'm looking at this. In the beginning, when Mpho starts his pension, he's 20. When he ends his pension, he's 60. So that means that Mpho is going to be paying into his pension for 40 years. 60 minus 20 is 40 years. So if he pays once a month for 40 years, I'm going to multiply 40 by 12, and that's where I'm going to get 480. So this is when his annuity is going to pay out. So this is 2 months before the annuity pays out. This is his last payment of 2,000 Rand. This is 1 month. So here with the 2 black lines, this is 1 month before his annuity pays out. Okay, so his money stays in the account and it earns interest for another month. He turns 60 here. Okay, and then he gets his money. Okay, so we set it out as follows. Okay, first, it has to go into future value because it's a retirement annuity and he's making regular monthly payments. So that is 2,000. 1 plus his interest rate was 15%. He's very lucky. Compounded monthly. There are 480 payments because we start at T0 and we end, or he ends up, his last payment is at T479. So there are 480 payments minus 1 over 0.15 over 12. The money stays in the account for 1 month, gaining interest. So here we have to multiply this by our bracket. Our interest rate hasn't changed, so it's 0.15 over 12. And again, it's just 1 month that it's in there, so that would be to the power of 1. Okay, like so. Okay, guys. There we go. All right, so let's see. A couple of people did send through answers. You're welcome to do so and see what you get. So I see there's some answers coming through. That's cool. Okay. What are you guys getting as an answer? Yes. Good, Pinga. Well done. No, Hendrina. Okay, so let's just go back to the questions. Hendrina, no. I know this is the trick with the question. Okay, there are not 408. Sorry, there are not 400. Sorry, what was your question here? Let me just have a look. Hendrina. No, there are not 481 payments because there is no payment at T480. Okay, so if you start counting at 0 and you end at 479, there are going to be 480 payments. Look here, you're starting to count at T0. That's when your first payment takes place. Your last payment is here 1 month before the annuity pays out on his 60th birthday. So if you start counting at 0 and you end at 479, there are 480 payments, not 481. Okay, yeah, so it's a huge amount of money that he ends up getting. Let's just see. Lesedi, let's just see what your question. Why do we have the extra bracket? Okay, Lesedi, that is because of the interest. Okay, when the money stays in the account from T479 to T480, it earns interest. Okay, so there is a bracket here for the interest that the money is going to be earning for that 1 month that it's in the account. Okay, I mean, if it stayed in that account for another 5 months, if it was compounded monthly, then this would be to the power of 5 over here. Okay, for example, that's right. Okay, so a lot of you are sending through the correct answer. Good, everybody. Okay. Just goes to show the power of starting early. If you're able to do that. I mean, obviously this interest rate of 15% per annum compounded monthly is completely ridiculous. No financial institution is going to give you an interest rate. I mean, at best, I think you can get 10% these days. So that is a little bit unrealistic, but anyway, never mind. That's not the purpose of the question. The purpose of the question was really that the payments are made in advance and the last payment was made 1 month before the annuity pays out. Okay, so let's go and have a look at something else. All I want to know is Paul looking for a wife? Because if he's going to retire with 62 million, I think there's a lot of ways I could help him spend that money. Some nice holidays we could go on. Don't you think, Yolanda? Hey,
Yeah,
62
yeah,
million.
definitely.
Mm-mm.
Definitely.
Yeah, that's all
Oh,
I want to know is doesn't Paul have a wife? And if not, is he looking?
you know,
Okay. Okay. Sorry, guys. Okay, let's have a look at something else. All right. Thank you. Okay. Yeah, let's look at this one. Okay, so Katlejo starts a 5-year savings plan at the beginning of the month. He deposits 2,000 Rand into the account and then makes a further deposit of 2,000 Rand at the end of that month. He then continues to make month-end payments of 2,000 Rand into the account for the 5-year period, starting from his first deposit. The interest rate is 6% per annum compounded monthly. They want you to calculate the future value of his investment at the end of 5 years. And then part B, due to financial difficulty, Katlejo misses the last 2 payments. What will be the value of his investment now at the end of the 5-year period? I'm going to let you guys try this question. Okay, obviously I'm going to go through the answer with you, but you guys have a go. Let me just put the future value formula here for you. Oh, it is there. Let's just move it down. Oh no, well, we can do that. There we go. And then you can see that. Okay. Yeah, exactly, Tsegofatso. Exactly. All right, so you guys try that and let's see what you end up with. And then we can go on and look at something else. Sure, Boitumelo. Sorry, everybody, Boitumelo just wants me to go back. There you go, Boitumelo. Sorry, the answer's cut off, screenshots. And then there was the answer. Okay, Boitumelo. Hope you've got that. Cool, no problem. All right, there we go. Let's go to this one. Excuse me, sorry guys. Okay, Seketelo, it's cool. I'm also just busy. Is that the answer to A or the answer to B? Seketelo, I presume it's the answer to A. Okay, part A. Okay, Pinga sent me an answer. Sasipo. Okay, Sasipo, your answer is different to Pinga's. Let's see the Cindy. Okay, Miss Cindy, your answer's different to everybody. Ooh, a lot of different answers coming through here. Oh, wow. Okay. All right. So sure, this is so interesting. So there's lots and lots of different answers that are coming through. Okay, some of you are getting 136,855,78. Others are getting 142,237.76. 139,540. 147,237.76. 140,237.76. Okay. All right. So lots and lots of different answers for the first one. So let's just check in on that one and make sure that we were doing the right thing. Okay. Again, often it is the English that makes these questions, which is not fair. It's the English shouldn't. Thanks, Chloe. That it shouldn't be difficult because it's difficult to understand. It should be difficult because it's difficult conceptually to find a way to the answer. Okay, it shouldn't be it's because it's ambiguous. Okay, correct, Kutwano. All right, so he starts a 5-year savings plan. So at the beginning of the month, he deposits 2,000 Rand into the account. So you could view that as a payment at T0 of 2,000 Rand. What's important here is that he's making these payments at the end of the month. Okay, so it's different to the previous question where he was making the payments in advance, right? He's making the account. So at the end of T1, he deposits another 2,000 Rand. So yes, essentially you could say that in the first month, he's made 2 payments. He then continues to make month-end payments at the end of every single month, again at the end of the month for a period of 5 years, starting from his first deposit. Now, this is the bit that I suppose could create a little bit of ambiguity. Okay, so for 5 years, so 58, 59, and 60. Okay, so I would say when it says starting from his first deposit, this is his first deposit, isn't it? This one here, highlighted in pink, that's his first deposit. Okay, so if he makes month-end payments starting from his first deposit, then that means that after he's done this, he's paying at the end of every month for a period of 5 years. That's how I would interpret this particular question. Okay, so after his first deposit at T0, at the end of every month for a period of 5 years, he's going to be making a deposit of 2,000 Rand. So I interpret that as him making 61 payments. Okay, so in other words, 12 times 5 plus 1 in this case. Yes, Pinga, it does. Okay, so this is the first month here. Okay, so T0 is interpreted as the beginning of that month. T1 would be at the end of that month, of that same month. Okay, quite right. Yeah, so Tsegofatso, this is again, we've got to be just so careful with what they mean with the wording. Okay, but this is how I would interpret this question. This is what I think they mean by it, is what I've explained here. Okay, so when you are calculating the future value of Katleho's investment, it would be, is it 2,000 Rand? Yes. One plus 0.06 compounded monthly, 61 payments. Okay. So I'm getting, which some of you did do, 142,237.76. Correct, Lobby. Correct. Correct. Okay. All right. Now, due to financial difficulty, Katlego misses the 2 last payments of 2,000 Rand. What will the value of investment be now at the end of the 5-year period? How does the information in part B change our question matrix? What's going to change here? What's going to be different now? Okay, so Tsegofatso has given me an answer. Sure, we'll see that. Okay, so N's going to change. The number of payments are going to change. What else is going to change? Katlego, are you sure that X is going to change? He's still depositing 2,000 Rand. Yes, so this future value will change. That's correct. Nolutando, you're right, but you've DM'd me. Let's see if anybody else says what you said, Nolutando. Yes, FV will change, but there's something else that's got to happen here, guys. So it's not just N that's going to change in this question. Okay, remember, he doesn't make payments in the last 2 months, but it still pays out at the end of the 5-year period. Ah, yes, Tsegofatso, you got the right idea. Yes, Nolutando, you're quite right. That's exactly it. Okay. So what happened here, guys, in this question with Impol, when that money stayed in the account for that 1 month before it paid out when he turned 60? What did we do to future value? Thank you, Katlego. Right, we use the brackets, okay, from compound interest. Exactly. So we're going to have to do the same thing over here as well. Okay, because that money, as soon as the regular payments stop, if the money stays in the account, it's earning interest. Okay, and that will be by compound interest. There we go, Tsegofatso, quite right. Okay, so in part B now, his future value of his investment, he's depositing the 2,000 Rand. Interest rate is still the same. It's 6% per annum compounded monthly. Remember now, he misses the last 2 payments. They do not take place. So he started at T0, he ends at T58. So a lot of you that sent me this, that is correct. There are 59 payments of 2,000 Rand minus 1. Good, well done. But now the money stays in the account and earns interest. So we've got to multiply future value by a bracket. Okay, the interest rate is the same. It doesn't change. It could change if they wanted to add another level of complexity to the question, I suppose. And if it's the last 2 payments, it's the last 2 months. Okay, so if it's compounded on a monthly basis, this would be to the power of 2. Yes, Katlego.
Ma'am, why is
Katlego.
it not 58 payments? Why is it 59?
Why is it 59? Because remember, in the beginning, he made 2 payments in the first month. Remember, he makes a payment at the beginning of the month when he opens the account. And then at the end of that same month, he makes another payment of 2,000 Rand. So we started counting at T0, not at T1. Okay, so here you can see I've put a pink box around the last 2 payments that he's missing. Okay, so the last payment took place at T58, but he made another payment at, or he made his first payment at T0. So that is 59 payments. Okay.
Okay, ma'am. Thank you. Thank you, ma'am.
All right, no problem. Okay. All right. So now we can pop this into our calculators and see what we get. Okay, let's see what you guys are getting. Okay, see how I'm going to answer your question now. Yes, Sisipo, Mbalenhle, Ntlafatso. Ntlafatso got a different answer from you. You see, no, so Ntlafatso, you can't do that because there are 2 less payments. Okay, in A, there were 61 payments. But here, there are 59 payments, so that's not going to work. Chloe, that's lovely. Well done. Swanaka, I'm going to answer your question now. Msomi, that's also the correct answer. Oh, then there's a whole bunch of you that have... Yeah. Okay. All right, cool. Yes, that's correct. Okay, so you should be getting 138,227 correct, 76. Okay, so let's just have a look here, just to answer some questions that have come through. Okay, so see how you're saying, okay, so Sahawu, remember in compound interest, okay, the N in compound interest represents the number of times the interest is compounded in that particular period. So if interest is compounded monthly in a year and there are 2 months worth of interest, that's why this would be to the power of 2. Okay. Jude, I'm going to answer your question now as well. So how was question? Zwanaka, where did the 59 come from? Okay, so Zwanaka, it's like I was explaining earlier, I think to Katlego. Okay, remember that Katleho started paying at T0. That was his first payment. If he misses the last 2 payments and finishes at T58, that's 59 payments because it's 58 plus 1. Okay, that's where the 59 comes from. Okay, Jude, let's just have a look at your question. Yes, that's exactly it. Yeah, no, absolutely. It is a little bit confusing, but that's why we're multiplying by the bracket. So this is, Jude, what happens, what he gets from paying the orange block. This represents the future value. All right, so in other words, what Katleho accumulates by paying 2,000 Rand a month for 58 months, okay? He makes 59 payments, however, of 2,000 Rand. The money stays in the account, okay? So remember, it's only going to be paid out, okay, at the end of the 5-year period. So it's only going to be paid out at T60, right? So it's staying in the account for these 2 months over here. That's why we've got that. Okay, so essentially this orange block over here has become the p-value for compound interest. Does that make sense to you? So you're working with compound interest, A equals P, 1 plus I to the power of N. Your p-value is the future value. Okay, then your compound interest is going to be this bit at the end over here. That's your compound interest. I hope that makes sense, Jude. Yes, Velo, quite right. So when do you know that you have to multiply by a bracket? So Kutluano, you know that you have to multiply by a bracket when the regular payments stop and the money stays in the account and earns interest. Okay, that's when you multiply by this extra bracket. Okay, so the regular payments have stopped. You cannot use the future value formula anymore because you can only use future value and present value for that matter when there are regular payments taking place. The minute the regular payments stop, compound interest. Okay, Lesejo, I see you've got your hand up. Go for it, Lesejo.
Hello, ma'am.
Hello, how are you?
Good and you, ma'am?
Fine, thank you.
Ma'am, I just have a question for A because I have the same answer as you, but
Yes.
I calculated it differently.
Okay, so what did you do?
So, ma'am, I used the normal future value formula, but I said 2,000 times 1 plus 0.06 over 12 to the power of 5 times 12 minus 1. And I put that all over 0.06 divided by 12. However, I added the extra 2,000. So I don't have 61. I just have 12 times 5 within the normal
That's
future
fine.
value formula.
That's fine. That's fine. That's fine. Now the reason why that works is because this very last payment over here at T60 is not, because it's made at the end of the month, it's not going to gain any interest. So yes, that will work. What you've done there is not incorrect. That's why we got the same answer. That's fine.
Okay, man.
Not a problem. It's just a different way of doing things. Sort of less usual way of doing things, but absolutely nothing wrong at all, Lesejo. Okay.
Okay, thank you, ma'am.
Cool. Well done. No problem. Let's do 2 more. Okay. Let's see if I've got, these are questions. Let's just see if I've got anything else that's like that we can do this lesson. the next ones that I've got are all about working out the value of N. Okay, Velo, rather than calculating the future value. If you want to, we can always try and do like an one more question like that. Sorry, because now at the end of the lesson. Yeah, absolutely. Okay, so let's have a look at this one. We did have a look at this last time, but I wanted to do this again with you. Okay, so 500 Rand is invested each month, starting in 1 month's time, into an account paying 16% per annum compounded monthly. The fund accumulates to 10,000 Rand. How many payments of 500 Rand will be made? Okay, so in this situation over here, again, there is a regular payment being made. It's savings because they use the word invested. So we know that we've got to use future value. All right, so when they ask us how many payments of 500 Rand will be made, they're asking us to calculate the value of N. All right. Is there an immediate payment? Is there a payment at T0? No, quite right. There's no payment at T0. Okay. And it where is it? We don't know. All right. So we don't know how many payments are going to be made, but we know that there's not one at T0. Okay. So 500 goes in, 500 goes in, and eventually we get to a value over here, and we know that we end up with 10,000 Rand. Okay, so 10,000 is our future value equals X, our regular payment, 1 plus our interest rate of 16%. Yes, Kamachelo, you're welcome to ask.
Ma'am, on this question, when they say starting in 1 month's time, it means like the person didn't start investing immediately at the beginning of the month, but actually started investing at the end of the month.
Absolutely, absolutely. All right, so there's so in other words, there's no payment at T0. Okay, there's no payment at T0. Yes, there can be Tsegofatso. Yes. That can happen. All right. Yeah. Sure. Thanks, Yolanda. Yolanda's put the thing for the chat in. Okay. Where were we? Okay, -1. (0.16) over 12. Okay, so again, we want to try and isolate this bracket. So from here, the process is cross multiply your I at the bottom with your future value, cross multiply, and then divide by the 500. So Mbalentle, it's because of the wording of the question in this case. So it says 500 Rand is invested each month starting in 1 month's time. So in other words, they're implying there's no payment at T0. Okay, so only at T1 is there going to be a payment. Okay. All right. So Tsegofatso, just be careful. Remember, we're not working with compound interest, so you're not going to multiply N by 12. Okay, N represents the number of payments. Okay, so sorry, let me just catch up with you guys. We've got to multiply the 10 by the I value. And we've got to divide it by 5, whoopsie, not by 50, by 500. Okay, Are you guys getting an answer? Oh no, I think I stuffed that up. 10, 1, 8. Okay, that's better. Okay, so I'm getting an answer of, sorry, this is just so far, of 4/15 equals the round bracket, which I'm getting, oopsie. I'm getting 76/75. Okay, so then we've still got to transpose this -1. Okay. So here, I'm getting 19/15 equals 76/75 to the n. Yeah, there we go. All right, so remember n equals log base number, and n ends up being, use that log button on your calculator. Let's see, I know you guys are a little bit ahead of me here. Sorry, my calculator's so old, it does stupid things, or maybe it's just me, I don't know. There we go. All right, so I see I'm getting the same answers as a lot of you in the chat. 17,85. Okay, so yes, we would have to round that off. All right, it says here, how many payments of 500 Rand will be made? Okay, so in this case, that 0.85 represents a part payment of 500 Rand, but it's not 500 Rand. So in other words, there are 17 payments of 500 Rand. Okay, and then one smaller payment. Does that make sense to you, everybody? Okay, so here we would actually round down because it says how many payments of 500 Rand will be made. Okay, so 17 payments of 500. The decimal represents, no, see how we won't round off to 18 because that 0.85 represents a part payment. It's not a full payment of 500 Rand. Okay, it's a smaller payment. Okay, so it's 17 in this case. Yes, Sissy Paul.
Ma'am,
Hi, Sissy Paul.
when we were taught logs, like way back in grade 10, we used to do it like the normal log. It's like log and then the number in the bracket divided by log, and then
oh, that's
basically
if you log both sides.
yeah.
Yeah. You can do it.
Do you have to do it like the way you should, or can you do either or?
You can do either or, Sissy Paul. Okay, so some teachers prefer to teach it where you log both sides, and in that case you would have log whatever divided by log whatever. There's nothing wrong with that. Personally, I do it this way just because I think this is easier. But if that's what you've been taught at school and that's what you're comfortable with, go for it. There's nothing wrong with that at all.
Thank you.
Okay, pleasure. Okay, Molebo, what's your question?
Ma'am, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you, Molebo.
Okay, you see it's n is equal to 17,85.
Mm-hmm.
When do you
Yes.
when do we subtract that 17 and divide that answer by 12?
Okay, so that would be a different situation. Okay, so we were doing that when we were working with compound interest, and it said how long would it take for us to pay this off, right? Here we're working with future value. So N represents the number of payments. Okay, so we wouldn't subtract the 17 from here and then multiply the 85 by 12, because that's not what the question's asking us for. It's not asking us for how many years and how many months. It's asking us how many payments of 500 Rand will be made. So you would do that when the question says how long, or they're
Okay,
asking for
thanks.
time. Okay, not future value, compound interest. Okay. All right. But yes, Tsegofatso, you're right. Financial maths is tricky. Remember, it's 15 marks out of 150 in paper 1. Okay. You've got to read the questions very carefully. And yes, it's very easy to make mistakes when you are tired.